Hey everyone, I'm Gabe,
Joey, J-Ping.
and welcome back to Social's Lifestyle Podcast. We are advocates of the cannabis community, promoting education and information to users and non-users alike. And normalization comes through conversation. That's what we're here to spread. So we ask that you join us on Wednesday at 4:20. You can catch our audio release next Wednesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also Anchor. And then also the following Monday, or actually the next Friday. I'm sorry, we're actually changing the date. We're going to do it sooner.
Okay.
We will be doing the video release on YouTube and the WeTube. So make sure you follow us at Socials Lifestyle. We have our second guest. He's new to the Socials podcast, but we know this guy. You know us.
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
And it's so awesome that you're here, Joey. Make sure you guys follow him on Instagram at JoeyJPing and also at respectmyregion.us. For those of you that don't know, me and you met in February, right? I think, or January of last year.
The first event. I believe. God, what did I say when I sat down next to you? I think this is my 6th day here. Some shit
Cali.
like that. Yeah.
That's wild, man. It's awesome that you ventured out. We'll get into the story of how we met and everything, but today we're gonna be talking about our cannabis journeys, how they aligned, how you began into cannabis personally and on the business aspect, and then we're gonna be talking about the West Coast Weed Tour. That's something that is very important.
Let's go.
I want to get everybody. We're going to be a big part of that, and we're really proud that we're going to support you. So let's make that happen. But before we get into the Weed Tour, let's get into our journeys, like I said. So why don't we first talk about how you got into cannabis, and also what is Respect My Region?
Oh man, so how I got into cannabis? I got into cannabis because I went 90 days no job.
Really?
I was working at Microsoft back in 2015. And 2016, and I went to a music festival, came back from the festival, went to work on Monday, and didn't have a job after that.
Wow,
and so got dropped at 6:30 in the afternoon by Microsoft, and went 90 days no job. Couldn't get it hired anywhere. I didn't lower my standards down, and not to say that I'm better than anyone, but I didn't go work retail. I didn't go work at McDonald's. That was not something that is in what I want to do. That's not my goal.
Yeah.
And doing something like that would be going backwards for me.
Yeah.
And so what I did was, I took interviews. I probably applied for everywhere in the earth, for 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, I bet you were just sending out that resume.
Email. Oh yeah, thousands. I edited. In my life, whenever something like that happens, I have multiple emails ready to go, multiple resumes, and so I just sent out 1,000 of them bitches and and took interviews at 7 different pot shops.
Wow.
Yeah, I just went hard. I wasn't getting hired by Microsoft. I wasn't getting hired by Expedia. This is in Seattle, so there's Nordstrom's and Costco and all these brands, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
But I applied. I needed money.
Exactly.
Yeah, coming from Microsoft, I did end up making decent money on unemployment. Like back then, I was making $500 a week just on unemployment. That's $2,000 a month.
Dang, that's decent. I could live in Cali with that.
That's not bad. You can live in California, but that's only if you come from a job that pays you that much beforehand.
Yeah,
you don't get to make $2,000 a month if you came from Burger King.
Yeah, I get that.
And so because I came from a good place, I was making good money on unemployment. I went 90 days on that, but it wasn't like I was just slacking. Like at this point in time, we had the studio we were talking about.
Right.
We're hustling. I'm taking meetings. I'm consulting artists. I'm taking weekly meetings with artists multiple times a week, teaching them marketing, social media, how to do their content better, all these things, charging $25 an hour. Like this is 3.5 years ago. You
had like Respect My Region in that career, that company, but you didn't necessarily have like a job of payable income.
That's the thing,
stuff
is
like that, like solid.
You create a brand, whether it's your personal brand or another brand, you create an opportunity for yourself to always make money off of it. And so it's in my case, it's called Respect My Region because it's something that I can always fall back on. But my skill set, the personal brand of Joey J. Ping, I have a skill set and the brand has a skill set. And they're two different things. And so with Respect My Region, that's a sexier brand to hire to do something. You can hire just the local neighborhood kid to mow your lawn, or you could go to the Bellagio landscaping company, you know what I mean, and pay them to freaking chop it up into a statue of you know what I mean, for a tree.
I get you, yeah.
2 different types of scenarios. And so, at this time, our Respect My Region wasn't making good money, bro.
Right.
We didn't have hella clients. We weren't doing premieres on World Star, things like that, like we're doing now. We weren't monetizing the brand efficiently. And so I was lucky to make $100, $200, $300 through that somehow randomly a month.
You were hustling your way in and out.
Yeah,
and
I don't sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? It's not my wheelhouse. So it wasn't like I was sitting here trapping weed or trapping pills or whatever it is. That's not my thing.
Right.
And so what I always just did was, like I said, I applied. I got interviewed at 7 pot shops, and they all said no.
Wow.
They all said no. And here I am thinking like, I'm stress, the nausea, all those things we were kind of talking about before we were while we were setting up and shit. Like, here I am sleeping on the floor of the studio. Dang. On a 3-inch mattress pad from Costco.
Damn, man.
Some people are like, that's the lowest one, but like when they say like when famous people say you gotta eat shit, you gotta eat shit. Mm-hmm. You gotta hit rock bottom. You gotta stay at your house with your family for 10 years. You gotta sleep on the floor at your studio. Mm-hmm. You gotta and it's funny, I slept on the floor of my studio, and at that time, come to find out after the fact, I'm paying more for rent for my share of the studio than 3 other people.
Right. And it's just like...
back then. And so it's like, you got to really eat shit. Mm-hmm. Gary Vee says it. A lot of people say that you got to just really suck the dick of eating fucking shit and dirt and all of that for a period of time before it really goes positive. And thank fucking God, I went 90 days, no job, slept on the floor of the studio. I took $400 and moved into, and my grandma sent me $200, and I gave the guy $500 just so I could keep $100 of it for food and stuff. Right. But I moved into into a room for $450.
Wow.
And just kept my homie's bed. I had no furniture. I don't own anything. Like, I'm here in California. I got clothes in a bedroom filled with other people's stuff. Yeah. Even just right now to this day. But this ain't the first time in my life that it's been like that. Like I'm saying, in the studio, I had nothing there.
So you understand the struggle. There's no story without the struggle.
The struggle at this point, it's not to say the struggle is easy, but the struggle is easier. And the other problems that I have in business are way easier to overcome because I got these other things we've already overcome. We've already had rent for a spot like this. Mm-hmm. We've already had, people get evicted. I've already had my business partners have money and not have money. I've already had homies go to jail, not go to jail. People help then disappear. All those things that make that story.
I see. Well, I'm so proud that like you're here and you're actually now dipping into cannabis and also like both on your personal aspect. Like how long have you been smoking?
So I've been smoking since 2011. I got into cannabis officially as a bud tender in 2016 at Diego. In October 2016. Okay. Same day, same hour, I got hired by Leafly.com and Diego Pellicer. Same day, same hour. I took a phone call from Leafly. They hired me as the as like the lead of their brand ambassador team for their college program. Oh, nice. And then Diego, I had an interview at Starbucks, and I took that call from Leafly on the way to the interview at Starbucks for the pot shop. Wow. And I got hired by both same day. Leafly paid me good. $25 an hour to manage the team. That's and then I hired all the homies who did other brand ambassador work with me.
So they already had experience.
I literally hired the other homie who did photo, the other homie who did video, and the homie who did video did brand ambassador work for Adidas. Okay. And so it was like, and he was a good looking dude. So he was like, we had the model, the media, the networking, and the experience. We've been shooting shows and concerts for years and networking and passing shit out for Respect My Region for years. And so we had the super squad to go kill it for Leafly, and we did. And so it was a fun time. And then, so I started working for Leafly, started working for Diego. Diego was the pot shop. It's no longer available in Seattle. It just got purchased by Zips Cannabis, which is a chain out there. Okay. But Diego has 2 stores in Denver. Nice. Denver area, and so you can still go see those stores in Colorado. But launching the Seattle store was exciting because all of us got certified as a medical marijuana consultant. So we all of us took 20 hours in classes through Washington's Department of Health.
Dang, Washington's got it nice, man. The regulation and everything. You guys are now certified.
So the transition from medical marijuana to recreational cannabis was different than California for Washington, right? Okay. And so not all these states had different rules. Everything kind of switched up and transitioned differently, right? And so with Washington, from 2015 to 2016, we went from having a medical marijuana market, just like the states that had those, to 97% of it went recreational only. Yeah. There was less than 3% in year one. There was less than 3% of the people that were medical patients signed up. Wow. And so our market essentially disappeared. Yeah. For that. And so we launched the store thinking we'll have the best customer service, the most educated staff. We actually kind of stole and recruited high performing staff from other stores across the state and gave them a really nice starting wage.
Yeah.
Seattle is a minimum wage of $15 an hour in the city. And so we gave everyone 16 and 17 right off the bat with incentives to like grow and stuff. And so with that, it was like we were able to poach some people from other stores and staff, and we put together what we would call the super team. In our first 2 months of the store being open, one of our bud tenders was featured on Northwest Leaf magazine on the cover. The next month, we sold a $3,000 product. The next month, we sold like $2,000 products that was unheard of. And then the homegirl came over from Washington State University. She was the manager of stores out there. So we recruited a manager to come to our team to be a shift lead. She won bud tender of the year for the female side of things that year.
Dang.
And so we just had, and then me running Respect My Region at the same time and pushing the store. We went viral. Like on my birthday, on August 2nd, Respect My Region won an award. And on the same fucking day, BuzzFeed dropped a video that we got 25 million views on.
Whoa.
And so August 2nd, which my birthday is August 3rd, all of this in 2017 just went bam, 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 and just stacked up on million views content. I'm in that video like 5-6 times. You can clearly see me in the video. The brands that we were working with at Diego essentially are now, like the brands that Respect My Region built strong relationships with are essentially some of the strongest brands in the state.
That's
not
great.
Because of us. They do great product by lighting fire and gas underneath those people and putting it in front of enough eyes, content and distributing it around in front of the right people. It really helped people grow and succeed and brand themselves at a high level. And
content ties with marketing, and that's how you push the market.
Oh,
that's how and advertising, you know what I mean? It all funnels and it all adds fuel to the fire, like you were mentioning. So I totally feel that.
And like you and I have talked about this as well. Cannabis is severely lacking in content that's SEO heavy. There's not as many cannabis publications as there are publications in every single other niche that exists.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we did talk about that. Yeah, that's
it's
true.
New.
It's
because
very
it's so new. Even cannabis media is new. The longest heirloom brands in cannabis media are High Times and some of the magazines that have been around for 10 years. But even still, that's so relatively new. And then you think about
it's Google. New compared to the industry. It's how long the cannabis industry has been in existence too.
Well, no, not the industry,
but the
culture.
Oh, okay.
The culture has been around for a long time. So you can go read 50 to 100 years worth of culture.
Right.
Thanks to High Times and then just people, writing things and books and all that kind of stuff. That's the culture and the conversation around it all. The industry is so new, thus the content is so new.
I see.
And so what I mean by that is if you look at all the true professional people that are doing content, whether it's a publication or influencers or whatever, people are doing content, but they're not doing it everywhere they should be.
Right.
So we've talked about this. Like we were even mentioning it with you guys earlier. You guys are on YouTube and WeTube, and then there's just the social stuff, and then obviously like we were specifically talking about how video quality is different on some of the different platforms.
On each platform you have to personalize and
so some people hear those things and they're like, okay, that automatically means I should prioritize one less or more than the other.
No, not necessarily. No,
not when you should be 10xing every piece of content you create.
Yeah, because then you're spreading yourself too thin. If you're like, we talked about that like on one of our socials meetings, was like, should we go into Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all that, but then eventually, how much content are we going to provide on each platform every single day when we're, sort of trying to figure out how we're trying to do social club app, Instagram,
absolutely,
YouTube, WeTube.
Each platform requires its own algorithm. Each platform requires its own content base. It requires its own engagement strategy, all of those things. And so for anyone to sit here and be like, oh yeah, and you know what? This is the prime example for everything. Before I even get too much in detail into all that craziness, the motherfucking people who post on Instagram and they share it across 10 fucking channels. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know that every time you do that, you're actually crippling your algorithm?
I didn't know that. No.
Oh yeah, dude. You think it's all great and smooth and it's so easy to share just from Instagram to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, the 7 things you can click.
Right.
Oh yeah, bro. Instagram or Facebook and LinkedIn, they don't want to see Instagram's link content in there.
Yeah, no.
They want you to post that photo in their app originally and then write up something.
Which makes sense, as a business aspect. Like, why are you? It's almost like if you're doing it.
Facebook doesn't want you to click something on Facebook and leave Facebook. They want you to stay on Facebook.
Because then it'll take them out of their app, and then they're losing sales.
They're losing monetary value. Their advertisers are getting less conversions. It's a whole ecosystem. Once you're no longer on the ecosystem for whatever app, for whatever Facebook it is or Instagram, whatever you're on, once you leave, that's the worst thing. that can happen for them is you to go like this is where like when Pinterest became super popular in 2013 and women were spending an average 80 minutes once they got on it. It shocked the world. Now you saw every single platform integrate with Pinterest and being able to share things to Pinterest or being able to share things to Tumblr and Reddit. These places that house people for long periods of time, they don't want you to leave. And so what they do is they prioritize original content put into the platform over things from other platforms.
I see.
Even though Facebook owns Instagram, even though Google owns YouTube, Google wants shit through Google. It doesn't want shit shared from it through YouTube.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Now, granted, that YouTube share is probably more impactful than the Pinterest or the Tumblr or the Facebook share because Google owns it. But ultimately, it still wants original content through every platform. And that kind of mentality for us is what's really differentiated us in cannabis is we instead of being like respect my region, instead of focusing all our efforts on YouTube or all our efforts on Instagram where people are just spending 1/5 or 1/10 of their time.
Yeah.
When someone Googles things 10 out of 10 times.
That's right. That's true. I mean, that's how all entrepreneurs say that. Google and LinkedIn are where people should be, and that's where a lot of people are spending
if you're looking for professional resources, Google, you're just going to start with Google.
Exactly.
And then if you're college educated or even if you went to high school and you stuck through high school, you're taught to be able to identify the quality of sources.
Yeah.
Right? And so you think about at least that. Now, it's not about like chunking up the whole country or the whole world as to who does what or whatever, but the pure internet, Google first, YouTube second, every fucking thing else falls in line after that. Which means that if your content is only on things that are YouTube and down, you're not even in the conversation for Google.
I see.
Now your stuff is on Google because you're through all these other things, but you're not winning on that platform. And that's where for our brand, we focus on winning at Google first, YouTube, and everything else afters.
I see.
And then making sure that everything that we do elsewhere does correlate to that big Google push. My company makes more money and more things and does better through Google stuff across the country, across the world, than we do in
Instagram.
On Instagram. Even though we do 200,000 impressions on it, like we got, we're pushing 6,000 followers or whatever it is. We post once a day, maybe on there, right? And we're supposed to post 1 to 4 times a day, right?
Right.
Even though, even when we're really on top of it and we're really killing it and we're up there at around 500,000 impressions a month on Instagram, I don't value those 500,000 impressions on Instagram half as much as I value our 100,000 visitors on our Google website.
I feel like one of the hard parts for cannabis in reference to getting into Google is because it's cannabis. So like you can't necessarily market cannabis brands and advertising of the sales of it. Who told you that?
Because I can counter I can counter that.
I thought you can't
I can't tell you the store, but I can tell you that there's a store that I actively work with and that we actively promote and that I support that does over 800,000 web views a month on their Google My Business profile.
What?
So you're incorrect. And whoever's telling you that is also incorrect.
So you can get onto, so like cannabis brands can't get into Google.
Look at Google any store right now. They got a Google business profile. Whether that brand chooses to actually own it and run it is a different story. And 9 times out of 10, they say what you just said. And 9 times out of 10 past that, it's because they don't have someone who actually is a marketer running the brand.
So that's how like the industry's so young and sort of like cannabis brands
they don't know. They hear rumors. They don't know the research. But the fact of the matter is I could go create a fake email and claim a My Business profile for someone. Call up Google and act like I'm a cannabis brand on behalf of that store, and then link everything up appropriately and start getting this traffic. What people don't know in cannabis is they don't know how to leverage their resources appropriately. They hear that one piece of they hear that one story, or they hear some person that they feel has clout, and that's what the all-knowing reasoning or justification for why you shouldn't use that resource. Just because you don't know doesn't mean you shouldn't ask 10 fucking people or 20 more people.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And people literally, they hear that, who are you? Oh, you're Gabe. You work at this store in LA. Oh, that's a big store. That's one of the heirloom stores. Oh, you've been doing this for 10 years. You're a master grower, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So they think that you know everything. When in reality, you know that.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't know marketing and content and Google and AdWords and YouTube and SEO.
Right.
Audio, video. You don't know 50 of those things. Why? You've been fucking growing weed and selling weed for the last 10 years.
Right. Well, I feel like people use that as a way to like get through whatever they have to get through as far as like paying rent or stuff like that. That's their determination of the hustle, and everybody. And like you said, you chose not to sell drugs or sell cannabis or sell.
Bro, I bought an ounce back in fucking 2010 or 2011 and tried flipping it. I smoked half of it, didn't make any money.
Right. So you understand that like that's not just, it's just a part of, that's not part of who you are and what you're about and how cannabis has influenced your life. You know, everybody has their own balance and their own reasoning as far as how they got in. So it's like now it's a conscious choice. You know, now we're aware both black and white markets are available.
Yeah.
But it's up to, it ties in with your morals and values. You know what I mean? Like our morals and values are not to necessarily, you know, call out certain brands that aren't doing the right thing, but we're here to say that like, we're trying to provide a judge-free platform where people can provide their insight like you did. You provided your opinion. I respect that because it's real, it's authentic, and it's what people need to hear because I don't know that. Like you said,
well, there's
like,
multiple sides to every story too.
Exactly.
And that goes back to, you know, thinking that you can use Google versus you can't, thinking you can use social media versus you can't.
You can.
The fact of the matter is you can, you just aren't putting the strategy behind it. You're not putting enough time to figure it out. And those are just common things that people do every day.
Right.
They dedicate 25% of their full capacity, their brain thinking to 50 things in the day instead of just doing 10 of them very well.
Right.
Consistency, identifying your strengths, and then surrounding yourself with quality people, and all those questions are always answered for you. You just can't stop. When someone tells you no, oh, you can't use Google Business. Well, clearly other people are. So how do I get there? You have to be relentless in the pursuit of being the best.
I see.
And if you're running a business, there's no point in just saturating it just for running a business to run a business. You're in this business to pay people and create opportunity.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're here to do too, is to provide people with jobs and show that this industry is real and people can thrive and live through this.
It's undeniable the industry's real, bro. Yeah. There's money being contributed in Colorado. They literally took millions of dollars and gave it and upped the teachers' wages and things like that. And you're going to see cannabis affect things like that. It's states' decisions, states' rights to decide where things are going when they start using it. I know in Washington we have a giant slush account. It's just all the money's dumping in there, so that way whenever it is going to be used, it'll be used, or when, you know, things like that. And so the proof is in the pudding already. There's billions of dollars being made. California is now the biggest legal market in the world.
Yep.
And it's on pace to do astronomically larger than last year.
Wow.
And on pace to like
it's gonna crush the game. It's gonna change the world,
it was slow
man.
at first, and it's continued to do it. And obviously, the black market's big, but it's going to continue to grow and gain in size, and we're going to continue to see.
Yeah, and as the legal market becomes more accessible and convenient, it's going to diminish, you know, the success of the black market industry. It'll always be there, but
that's the thing people aren't realizing is the black market will always be.
It will always be.
It's always going to be around.
Yep.
It's always going to be people shipping weed across the places. And I mean, I can buy you a bottle of alcohol and send it to you.
Yeah.
I could charge you more for it if I wanted to. It's just you're not going to buy that.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. But next thing I wanted to talk about was the West Coast Weed Tour because, you know, now you're hosting events. So I'm like, ooh, I want to know what's going on with that,
So, yeah,
man.
bro, I've been here 7 months now almost, right? You guys have seen me do...
I've seen you.
You see me be a fan. You see me be a supporter. You see me really invest into the community and the culture. You know, I'm really out here. I really put as much of my time and effort into being there and supporting people and present. I think that's extremely important to be present in people's lives and support them if you really believe in them.
Exactly.
And I don't this is the thing too. This is what people also don't know. You don't have to support people's endeavors, and you can still support them.
Yeah.
So I don't support. We talk about this too. I don't support buying every freaking clothing piece. I don't support dumping all your money into booths at every event. I mean, I go to all these events. We're not paying money to sponsor things, and I still go there and I support just like the biggest and best of them. You know what I mean? And so money doesn't always have to be the primary factor, right, to how you support. Time, energy, remembering people's names, the tags on social media, the details, right?
Shout out, yeah.
The shout
when
out.
You see them in posting of something that's going on in their lives, like just that outreach and just saying, hey, you know, I hope everything works out great, you know, hang in there or something like that. Just motivation, positivity. That's how you build a relationship. You know, the human relationship, not necessarily the business relationship. Sometimes you got to put people first before the business to better understand if you really want to support them as a person. But at the same time, like you said, if they have goals that aren't necessarily in tie with yours, it's okay to still support them while also focus on your dreams and focus on what you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do every business opportunity together. Sometimes, you venture else and you meet other people.
There's a time and place,
exactly.
Figuring your value, understanding your role. And this is the thing too, is like the one thing that I want to focus in on, I feel is very important. The West Coast Weed Tour is how this came about, is we were identifying our strengths. We were identifying what the market really wanted. So many people just launch a brand or launch a business thinking this is what I want to do, but they never actually look at the need. Is there a need for what they're offering? What they're doing any different? Is what they're doing, exceptional? Right. And so for us, we really just looked at our strengths. We looked at the cannabis industry. We looked at the world of music, and we were like, what does the weed industry need? What do they already have? What is the feedback on things?
Right.
And so, you have the High Times Cannabis Cups, you got the Dope Cups, you got these Bud Tender Balls and these big ass award shows in all the states now. You got in Washington the Lemon Haze Convention, and
you got a lot
all
of
these different things coming up all the time, right? And so what we really figured is like, man, we don't aspire to raise $1 billion and throw a festival.
Right.
That's not in our.
There's a market for that. There's times for that.
Yeah,
there's
a market. There's even a demand for private festivals and small things like that. But that's not for us.
Exactly.
We want to support local artists, local culture, and help small businesses grow and help these networking opportunities. Really add this value in, right? And we don't want to do it in just any one state or any one city. We want to do it all over. So that's where we were like West Coast Weed Tour. How do we help the consumers identify trustworthy cannabis, artists that have dope music, photographers, creatives, designers, whoever it is, that offer exceptional skill sets and services, right? And how do we put them all in a place and curate an experience where it's interesting, maybe even exciting, maybe it's funny, and it's comfortable, right? We're being from Seattle, we're very focused on supporting women. We're very focused on supporting diversity, even though Seattle's not the most diverse area. Right. It's a diverse area. But that's
area
what
you guys are focused on.
But that's what we're focused on, is we want to help encourage the conversation of diversity and inclusion and understanding and things like that. And by kind of connecting the cultures of music, entrepreneurship, business, and cannabis,
man,
it really allows all these people that have hella questions to come together in one place and talk and learn and conversate, and so much growth happens at all of our events every time. Whether it's, if you're a brand that's sponsoring one of our events, we always have 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 buyers at all of our events. Why? We're friends with them. We care about them. I care about their success. It's not set up in a way all the time so you make money. It's there to cultivate the relationship.
And that's important.
And that's very important, is cultivating a friendship.
Exactly.
And maintaining a friendship, showing up, showing out, getting a chance to do those videos together. A brand doing a video with the buyer on social media shows the rest of the staff
where the potential business could go, and like another opportunity, another door opening.
Absolutely.
That's important.
If you have undeniable, powerful relationships with brands and buyers, you won't just be a bud tender making minimum wage.
No.
Or $1 or $2 on top of minimum wage.
You'll be like Chelsea from Perennial, going from bud tender to CEO right here. Like,
bud tender to brand owner, bud tender to proposal to investor.
Exactly. That's how you get, boom, that's how you build this and make it a career, a cannabis career. Man, that's just,
exactly.
There you go.
And so to even though, I worked at the store for a year, then we launched a marketing agency in 2017. And took over marketing for like 5 stores, right? And a couple brands. And so for us, that was in Washington. Now we don't have all those same clients anymore. We've got 2 retailers right now, and we're doing some stuff for 3 brands.
Nice.
And so, with all the content we do on our side, all the work we do for those brands, it's super valuable and important for us to continue to do these events like the West Coast Weed Tour, creating a competition aspect to encourage competition. So we want to showcase people that care about being the best. Not the best, the most potent, not the best genetics all the time. Like, we're talking the best experiences. And so we want to make sure that that we're connecting the culture and curating things in a way that really builds.
That's great.
Builds brands, builds opportunity, builds relationships.
Sweet, man.
And that's what the tour is 100% all about. It's going to be 2 events in Washington in September. So September 7th in Seattle, September 14th in Spokane. We've got October, I want to say 12th, I believe, in the Bay Area, October 19th in LA.
That's where we'll be at. And it's going to be awesome, man. I want to thank you for being on here, man. I'm so sorry we got to actually cut out because we're hitting the time, but we're gonna have you again on like another couple episodes, so that way we can talk more about the West Coast Weed Tour, man. But like October 19th, we're gonna be there. If anybody wants to come out, email you, right? At Respect My Region.
Yeah, you can always get a hold of me through respectmyregion.us on Instagram or through me on Instagram, Joey J. Ping.
Okay.
Or you can email us info@respectmyregion.com.
Alrighty, you guys heard it from the man. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Gabe.
J. Ping checking in.
And have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Love y'all. Peace.